My name is Kristen Plummer. I work for KVCAP as the community coordinator for the Somerset Initiative. And today we're going to talk with Jerry Hume, um, who works with our Maine Families program. So, Jerry, can you introduce yourself and tell us about just a little bit about Maine Families?
Sure. So I am a team leader with the Maine Families program out of Somerset County. Maine Families is actually a home visiting program in every county, and in Kennebec and Somerset counties, KVCAP administers the program, and I cover the Somerset area.
Perfect. So, what is Maine Families?
Maine Families is a free home visiting program that is offered to anyone that's pregnant or that's parenting a young child in the state of Maine. We offer services to parents that have a young baby up to the age of 3 months, or if you're a parenting teen that has a baby that's under 6 months, then you're eligible for our program as well.
Perfect. And can people enroll prenatally?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, one of our goals is to enroll with families prenatally to initiate services at that point. So if you are expecting, that's a great time to call Maine Families to get involved with the program.
Great. Who can receive Maine Families support?
So again, anyone that is pregnant or that is parenting a young baby under 3 months or under 6 months if you're a teen.
And how long can families be involved in Maine Families?
So initially, we offer the program prenatally through a baby's 4th month of age, and somewhere between 3 and 4 months, home visitors in the program will talk to parents about what their supports are, whether or not they're going to go back to jobs, school, what goals they're working on. Many families will be eligible to continue past 4 months, and ultimately they could stay in the program up until the time their child turns 3 years of age.
Great. How do you enroll? If someone is interested in being involved in Maine Families, how do they access Maine Families? How do they enroll in the program?
Sure, good question. We do take self-referrals, so an individual can certainly call our program directly. We also take referrals from doctor's offices, WIC programs, area hospitals, public health nursing, so a variety of referral resources as well as the individual themselves.
Perfect. And can you talk about that process? Is it an application process? Is it a conversation that someone has
Sure.
with a home visitor?
Depending on where the referral is coming from, if you're a self-referral and you call us, we could take your verbal consent over the phone and connect you with a home visitor. If you're coming through one of our referral resources, such as a hospital or a doctor's office, then most likely they have one of our referral forms on hand, and you would complete that, and it would get sent to us, and from there we would connect you with one of our home visitors who would then contact you to tell you a little bit more about the program. And if you decide at that point that you're interested in enrollment, the home visitor would schedule a time to meet with you and do your initial enrollment visit.
Perfect. So, can you tell me a little bit about the home visitors? What kind of background do they come to Maine Families with?
Well, all of our home visitors are required to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. And from there, the home visitors' backgrounds can vary from early childhood education to social services. And once they're hired, all of the Maine Families home visitors throughout the state go to extensive trainings before they actually are able to go out and begin visiting with families. For instance, home visitors will attend a national training through Parents as Teachers, which is a week-long training, and they will also attend a 6-day training, which is considered their core training here in the state of Maine, And then beyond that, they're required to observe a number of webinars, read several books, and attend some other 3-day and 2-day trainings in order to prepare them for working with families in their homes.
So they're coming with a lot of knowledge.
A lot of knowledge.
Great. And so, Maine Families is a wonderful program. It's free. What if you're a family who is moving from one county to the next? Say one family moves from Penobscot County to Somerset County, and they're involved in Penobscot County with Maine Families. Can they continue to be involved when they move to Somerset County?
That's also a good question. Absolutely. One of the really nice things about Maine Families is that because it's throughout every county in the state, and because every single home visitor that works for a Maine Families program receives the same training, that lends itself to being consistent program to program, and you can just transfer from one program to another. As long as you've been actively enrolled with a program, you can transfer your service to another county.
Great. So let's talk about what happens at the home visit. So how often do Maine Families home visitors visit with families?
Well, the most frequent number of visits that we can do for any family would be weekly visits, so once a week, and we also offer twice a month visits, and at our minimum level of service it would be monthly visits.
So you would have to see each family at least once a month.
Yes, and initially we do really strongly encourage parents to consider taking weekly visits, because there is so much to learn when you bring a baby home from the hospital. We cover a variety of topics in those first few weeks, ranging from safe sleep to how to deal with a crying baby. So there's a lot of education that goes on within the first few weeks. However, families do have the option of choosing whatever frequency they want, because Maine Families is actually a voluntary program.
Perfect. And just to sort of think about new moms coming home from the hospital, do you have certified lactation consultants who are home visitors who can help new parents or new moms who are breastfeeding babies?
Absolutely. Each of our 2 counties has CLCs on staff, and if your home visitor is not one, then we can link you with another home visitor to do a consultation with you. So that is definitely a service that we provide to new moms who want that support with breastfeeding.
That's so wonderful, because I think when you're breastfeeding and you're a new mom, you wonder if your baby's gaining weight or what they're trying to tell you, and if you have some support with someone who has great knowledge about breastfeeding, what a relief.
Definitely.
So can you tell me what happens at home visits? So the home visitor visits, what happens during that home visit?
Sure. There are a variety of topics that home visitors will cover during the course of any home visit, but at the basis of the visit is providing parent education on the child and the child's development. So a snapshot of a home visit would look something like this. The home visitor would be bringing out developmental information to share with the parent, going over developmental milestones, what parents can be looking for in their children, also going over topics again such as crying, how to soothe a crying baby, how to get your baby to sleep in their own sleep space. And then they're also looking at health issues for children and making sure that babies are up to date on their immunizations and well child checkups. So they do talk to parents about that. They will go over safety proofing in the home and supporting parents to make sure that they have what they need to make homes safe, such as outlet covers, safety gates, carbon monoxide detectors. So that is something that they'll go over as well. And periodically, our home visitors are doing developmental screenings called ASQs, which are actually ages and stages questionnaires. And those screenings look at different areas of development in children. They cover gross motor, fine motor, social emotional development. So it's an opportunity for parents to see how their children are growing and which milestones they're achieving. And on the same hand, if a home visitor was to administer one of those screenings and discover that a child may not be where they should be for their age, they would have a conversation with the parent and talk about what could be done. And ultimately, home visitors can, with parents' support, they can refer out to other agencies to do more screening.
Perfect. What a wonderful, conversation to have with someone that you trust and you've built this relationship with, and you're sort of following the children together. So, and when home visitors share those sort of typical developmental milestones, or that, what to expect, parents have questions and you can go over the information with them and have a conversation about things that, they may not understand, or questions they might have about what to look for. So what a fantastic thing. So you talked a little bit about giving information. Do you do activities with children and families? And can you talk about what kind of activities families engage in?
Absolutely. Home visitors are also showing parents how to create toys using materials from within their homes to create safe, affordable, developmentally age-appropriate toys. And actually, I brought a sample of one to show you. So this is a sample of an activity that a home visitor would use with parents. And so the home visitor would bring the materials to make the activity and point out that the parents most likely have these same materials within their home. So this activity here is what we call our chips in a can activity, and it's geared towards older toddlers or younger preschoolers that are working on fine motor skills and coordinations with their eye-hand coordination. So what we have here is an empty plastic container. You can see it's brightly colored, which is appealing to young children. And we've used some duct tape on it to create some more patterns. And the home visitor has cut a hole out of this. And then inside the container, we've taken Play-Doh lids. You could also use the covers from a milk jug because they're the perfect size. And then what we do with these, after we take them out and we put the lid on, we would hand them to the child and encourage them to take this lid and put it in this open slot. And this is working on eye-hand coordination, fine motor skill development, and it's using something that you have in your own home. You don't need to go out and buy an expensive toy. You've got those materials at your house.
Absolutely.
So the home visitor would utilize this activity as a way to talk about developmental milestones that the child should be achieving, and talk about how this particular activity is focused on a certain developmental task. So
fantastic. And do home visitors engage in activities at every visit? Do they bring some type of toy or activity at each visit?
Yes, that's actually a big part of each visit, to provide parents with that interaction with their child and showing them how to create the toys for their children.
So what a wonderful skill for parents to develop, that they can find things around their home to provide a toy, but also to know what toy is most appropriate for that child at a developmental phase that they are. So we talked a little bit about, what home visitors can assist with when a child may not be meeting a developmental milestone, having that conversation with parents about maybe making a referral to an additional agency to help support that family. What other concrete supports can home visitors help families with? Well,
additionally, some of the other supports that home visitors can assist with would be connecting families to area resources. So, for example, if we have a family that comes to us and enrolls and has a housing need or a transportation need, then we are going to work with that family to link them to the appropriate area resources. We don't provide housing, but we would link the family to the housing resources that are out there. And there are quite a few, and not everyone is aware of them. So that's one of the helpful things by being enrolled with a home visitor. That person can assist you in getting connected to all that is available in the community. So that's actually a big part of what we do when we are working with families that do have identified needs.
And a lot happens within, if a family, is able to stay with the Maine Families Program for 3 years, a lot can happen. There can be a lot of transitions within that 3 years. So to have that consistent support, I'm sure is, very helpful. So I know we talked about families being able to stay in the Maine Families Program for up to 3 years. So if a family has an additional child, say, the child turns 3 and you stop visiting with that family, and then that mom becomes pregnant again, how does the family become then involved? Do they just re-enroll in Maine Families? And then is there a way that Maine Families can support, even though they're not following that older child, can they support that older child within that family unit?
Sure. Well, let me give you an example of what we actually encounter at times. So, for instance, if we have a family that is reaching that point where their child is going to age out of our program and is close to age 3, and then the family discovers that they're expecting again, what can happen is the home visitor would offer the family to the opportunity to continue with Maine Families. And what would happen is we would close out with the older child that's aging out, and then we would continue serving the family with the new baby on the way. And at the same time, although we would no longer be following that older child that aged out, we could certainly assist the parents if something were to come up and a referral needed to be made. We would definitely do that. It's just that we would not be following or tracking the progress of that child with developmental screenings and bringing developmental information. That is the only thing that would change.
Right.
And we would also help out with any transitions to preschool, childcare, etc.
Perfect. So they don't lose that relationship altogether if they have a new baby who comes into their home.
Right. And if they do end up aging out and their child is 3 and they age out, and then 6 months later they discover that they're pregnant, they can call us back, make a self-referral, and we will enroll them at that time.
Do home visits just have to happen within the family's home? Can you meet a family in the community, at a playground, at the library? Are there other places that home visits can happen? Are there places that you provide opportunities for families within the communities?
Definitely. We refer to this as a home visiting program, and so that implies going to your home, but we actually are able to meet families at various community locations. Home visitors can meet at libraries, they can meet at our local offices, so that those are also opportunities to connect with families and do visits at those locations. Weather permitting, home visitors can do visits outside in parks. And then outside of actual visits with our staff, occasionally Maine Families will offer group activities.
Nice.
Sometimes those are offered at parks. Sometimes they're offered at our offices. And it might be a type of play group. It might be a parenting class. And those are in addition to the home visits that staff provide.
So that's something extra.
Yes.
And this is all free. Just want to stress that Because I think that's so important for families.
Yes, I actually don't think I mentioned that at the beginning, but that's really important that you brought that up. Maine Families is a free home visiting program, so there is absolutely no cost for this, and it is voluntary. So it's hard to find things out there that are free now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I can imagine that you sometimes have families who have multiple children under the age of 3. So a home visitor may, be involved in a family that has a 3-year or a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old and a baby, or a 2-year-old and a baby. And so in that situation, that home visitor is serving both of those children. And so
That would
beyond
be correct.
the chaos of, those toddler and baby sort of, so the home visitor would work with the family to recognize or follow both the 2-year-old and the baby in the same visit.
Yes.
So you're not asking a family to do 2 different visits for 2 different age children or different stages.
That's right. That's right. We're aimed at trying to reduce stress
Yeah.
for families, not adding to it.
Right. Perfect. So I see you have a Maine Families bag there.
Yes.
So can you tell me about what is in the Maine Families bag while I
Sure.
do this activity?
Sure.
Looks like so much fun.
It is. So this is a Maine Families welcome bag, and home visitors will bring these bags out after a family has been enrolled in the program, so usually second or third visit. And within the bag there are a variety of items, and some of them serve as springboards to conversations that are important to have.
Perfect.
So for instance, one of the things that we have in this bag that families will get is a sleep sack. And along with this sleep sack, there is a handout on what safe sleep looks like, which is very important topic. And this is something that home visitors would discuss with parents and encourage them to share with any other caregiver for that child. So grandparents, aunts, uncles, anyone that might be caring for the child, we would encourage parents to talk to them about what safe sleep looks like.
What kind of information, can you just briefly talk about what kind of information is on that sheet about safe sleep?
Sure. So there are tips on ways to keep your baby safe in a safe sleep space. And you probably can tell from this photo that we have a baby lying in a crib, and there's just a sheet. There are no stuffed animals. There are no blankets, no pillows. So we know that limiting all of that within the sleep area is what has been determined to be safest for young babies. And so one of the reasons why we provide the safe sleep sack is to offer an opportunity to keep babies warm. That's a concern that a lot of parents have. Is my baby going to be warm enough without a blanket? And they will be.
The sleep sack sort of serves as the blanket.
It does.
So that extra layer of...
Yes,
But
it
not
does.
something that can go over the baby's face. Or
That's
mouth
right.
Or nose.
That's right. And so then there are other tips on here, in addition to what I just mentioned, making sure that the mattress, the sleep area is a firm area. That's also important. And as I mentioned, keeping stuffed animals out of the way, pillows, other toys.
The one thing I noticed is the lack of bumper pads. I feel like everyone wants to keep bumper pads in their cribs, and
Right.
what we've discovered is that they're not necessary, especially with the new crib standards where slats
Yes.
are much closer together. And
What you see in this picture is what you get.
Yes.
Just the baby
Yep.
with a sheet. That is all.
yes, absolutely. Thank you.
So that's one thing that's included in the bag. And so I'm just going to share a few other things with
Yeah,
you.
please.
There are also some books in the bag.
Nice.
Literacy is an important topic that home visitors will discuss, and letting parents know that just the act of sharing the book with their baby, not even reading the book, but letting their baby touch the pages, look at
Chew
the
on
images.
it, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
For those early babies, the ones that are really young, the cardboard books are really helpful. So that is one of the reasons why they're provided in the welcome bags. We also have toys. We have some keys because we know that play is very important to early brain development in young children. Another reason for including this in the bag. And there's also a toothbrush for when that first tooth comes in. So that's a sample of some of the items that are in the bag, and this is provided to families that enroll in the program.
Perfect. Great. So this is very helpful for families to be able to have books and sleep sets and information about sort of what is most helpful, or what is the most recent recommendation for certain things.
Yes, and as a program, Maine Families stays on top of that latest research. And Parents as Teachers America, the home visiting model that we follow, stays up to date on the latest research, and those guidelines are what we follow, the latest research, what's accepted, and that's what we share with parents.
Fantastic. So just going to wrap it up by asking you why, what is so important about home visiting? Why is it so important? What would you tell families? What is the most important thing when you think about home visiting? Or what have families told you has been most helpful to them having home visiting involved in their lives or their children's lives?
Well, if I could sum it up, I would say that in a nutshell, home visiting is a 1-hour visit devoted to education on your child. It's all about your child, and you having, as the parent, that opportunity to learn about what your child is capable of, what you can do as your child's parent, the first teacher in their life. What is your role and what kind of impact you can have, because we know that it's significant, and we do understand that parents are their children's first teachers. And so that 1-hour visit is really devoted to that. It's being a support for the parents, sharing all that information. Your doctor can't always be there every week, but Maine Families can be. And we support families in learning all that they can learn about their child.
Fantastic. And it's so important, as a new mom. I was a new mom many years ago, but thinking about all the questions you have, and the support you need, and a doctor is wonderful for medical stuff, but not, sort of that encouraging support, and being someone you can ask questions about, not just around medical stuff. So it's a fantastic program. Anything else you want to share with families? We are going to make sure that people know how to get in touch with you, or someone in Kennebec County if they want to enroll in Maine Families through KVCAP.
It's very easy to get connected to our program. And again, if I could say anything, if someone is pregnant and they're thinking about taking Maine Families, that would definitely be the time to reach out to us as soon as you know that you're pregnant.
And so, you can get support for many months before birth around what to expect, and sort of questions around that change from being pregnant to then becoming a parent.
Absolutely.
Yes. Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.